Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the news briefing for this Wednesday. We're going to get started with our first topic, which is illegal dumping in Monterey County. Some changes are going to be in store for those who illegally dump their trash and other materials. Plans are in motion to dramatically raise fees to combat the problem. Plus, there's a new problem. Our neighbor San Benito County raised their fees. And so we're a little concerned that people might drive a little bit farther to dump where the risk is less. So to talk about what changes might be in store, we have Maria Ferdin from our Environmental Health Bureau to talk about what the Bureau is looking at, and how long these new when these changes might take effect. Hi, Maria.
Hi there. How are you? So with regards to the new fines that we're looking at, San Benito County, as you know, raised their fines for illegal dumping from to $2,500 for the first offense, $5,000 for the second, and $10,000 for the third offense. And we're looking to do something to mirror that fine schedule here in Monterey County. And some of you already know, Environmental Health made a presentation to the Board of Supervisors based on a referral from Supervisor Church to adopt that kind of fine schedule for our county. And Environmental Health is going forward with doing exactly that. And on our end, it's more of a matter of where do we put it in Monterey County Code, and how long administratively it's going to take to codify it in the county code. So we're looking at that right now. And to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to take very long for us to do that. And that's going to be one effort for Monterey County to, an enforcement effort, a tool in our tool chest to combat illegal dumping in Monterey County.
So, Maria, you said it wouldn't take too long to get that done, which is good because there are a lot of people who are very concerned about this problem. Could you talk a little bit more about the problem in total? Because there is a lot of staff time, there's a lot of money, and community effort going into stopping illegal dumping.
Right. So, community as a whole, both the environmental health and our partners are doing a lot to educate the public, get information out about the appropriate places where people can dispose of their material, specifically the transfer stations, the landfills, and the periodic community cleanups that happen throughout the county. Also, environmental health has vouchers for private property owners who are victims of illegal dumping. They don't have to pay for any of that at landfills or the transfer stations. They just have to take the material in their own vehicles, and with the voucher that we issue, they can dispose of it for free at the transfer station, at the landfill. So those are the things that we do to help the public with when they become victims of illegal dumping. The other thing that we're doing is piloting a camera program, and that's going to happen. Environmental Health is looking at purchasing cameras for illegal dumping in Monterey County, specifically in the rural areas of the county, and adding this other component for the fines will help us additionally to combat illegal dumping. Now, what we've experienced in the county, especially since COVID, I can tell you that illegal dumping did not go away during COVID times. In fact, in the last 5 years, we experienced $1.7 million spent in cleaning up illegal dumping. And during that time, we also believe that we disposed of 1.6 million pounds of waste as a result of illegal dumping. So it's an active problem in Monterey County. We're combating and hoping for it to reduce over time with both education, enforcement, and cleaning up the illegal dumping as quickly as we can, because it's also an attractant for other illegal dumping, and we know that as a fact. We have hotspots in the county that we are aware of. And so it's something that we're actively trying to eradicate.
We do have a question for you that was in chat. The staff report indicated it might take 6 months to a year to implement this change, but I think in the course of the conversation of the board meeting yesterday, it seemed that it would go much faster.
Yeah. So one thing is to codify the new fine schedule in the Monterey County Code. The other thing is to create a process for which we do the enforcement. So the two things kind of will go together. So we're doing that actually simultaneously right now. And so that's the reason why we believe it's going to go faster.
Can you talk about what the fines are now and what the potential for the fines will be?
Okay, so there are two avenues for illegal dumping. One is in the Public Resources Code at the state level. And they range from, I believe, $2,500 to about $10,000, but I can verify that for you. I don't have those numbers right now. The other is a Monterey County Code, where potentially a fine could be first offense is $100, the second offense is $200, and the third offense, I believe, is $500. And they could be issued as citations, like a health department person can issue a citation on the spot. So we're looking to increase those fines to 2,500, 5,000, and then 10,000. If that changes, if for some reason we want to amend that, I'll let you know.
And just there's another question here, but I just want to follow up what you said about the money. Those numbers, I mean, that's a tremendous jump from what people currently face right now. And because obviously right now people aren't worried about whether they get a fine or not, because it might be just about as much as it might cost them to go to a transfer station or to take it to a dump. Not quite as much, but I mean, they're going to spend money either way.
Right, they will. I think that the fine structure, whether it's $100 or $1,000, the fines actually, we're looking at it in two ways. One is a deterrent, and the other, of course, is our ability to enforce it, actually going out and issuing tickets. And those two things, I think, hopefully will feed off of each other and reduce the volume of illegal dumping that we see. And of course, the other thing that I'm not talking about is education. Where do you find a place to dispose of tires appropriately? Oftentimes it can be done for free. Where can I take mattresses? Oftentimes it can be done for free. If it's already in your vehicle, take it to the landfill or transfer station. They'll accept it for free. So those are the things that, education, the educational component is probably the thing that, most people probably are not aware that, mattresses can be disposed of for free. Other things like recyclables, or at your home, you can call your waste management person, a company, and they can pick up a bulky item for free. It's part of your service. So getting that information out to the public is a huge component of what we're trying to do, and oftentimes it's one of the more difficult components.
And actually, one of our supervisors talked about that very thing yesterday during the board meeting, where he said, I had a large item and I realized it couldn't fit in my trash can. And so I was able to resolve it by calling the waste hauler, getting my bulky item permit, and was able to work it out.
Yes, yes. And oftentimes it's the most convenient thing to do.
And so here's a question about the cameras that you just talked about, which I think is a fabulous idea. What are the logistics of putting the camera program in place? And are there specific areas where cameras would be put in place? What problem areas? And by logistics, we're talking how much does it cost?
Oh, okay. It depends on the camera system. Right now, there's a huge range cost-wise. Interestingly, the cameras are sophisticated and the cost of them have come down. And if you're looking for something that is mobile and easy to use, you're probably looking at a game camera, for example. The technology is is very good. At least the resolution of the image is very, very good. And also it's extremely mobile. And the downside is that if you want to get images really quickly, like you can take your phone, and once you get alerted that, there's some photographs out, you can access it with your iPhone, for example. So what that means is that you need cell service. The camera itself needs cell service. So wherever you put it, it has to have some kind of reception out there. So Monterey County being very rural in places where there might be pockets of like dead zones, those places are probably not going to be ideal for camera with a system like that. Alternatively, you'll have to go out there and retrieve the SD card, and that's also not very convenient. When you're looking at illegal dumping, for example, you want to be as timely as possible. So there are plenty of places where we have hotspots that also coincide with excellent cell service.
So warning, so there's a warning to our people who do this type of thing. Another question, any number on how many fines were actually issued year by year, or maybe over the last year?
Yeah.
Also, and then I have another question for you after that.
Okay, I don't have specific information about the fines. Environmental health works on notices of violation, administrative action. And with regards to illegal dumping, we work closely, we have an extremely good relationship with the DA's office. And the last spectacular illegal dumping, we actually went through the DA to pursue it enforcement wise. What we're talking about today is like the incidental illegal dumping of mattresses and bags of garbage. That's what we're trying to capture. And we have not issued fines for those because, frankly, it's difficult to identify who disposes of it. Because one, we don't have cameras now. And two, identifying ownership of the material is almost impossible unless there are letters with their addresses on it. And oftentimes you don't see that. So to answer the question, we have not issued fines for illegal dumping. So I don't know, but we have pursued enforcement in other areas with the DA's office, with notices of violations, for example.
So, and I think that's what the question, that's the genesis of the question is, has anyone been caught, as it were, for doing illegal dumping?
Yes. The quick answer is yes.
And so that has been pursued not necessarily by the fines that we're talking about, but by investigation with the district attorney's office?
That's correct, yes. And oftentimes it takes a lot of footwork, a lot of being on the phone, talking to people, doing interviews, and it takes up a lot of staff time. And then once we're happy with what we found, we give it to the DA's office and they pursue it. And quite often it depends on the material that's dumped. If it's hazardous material, that is an entirely different category of enforcement. So so that's the quick answer, a relatively quick answer to the question.
Is there any way to put it kind of give people a snapshot of how many people who have been caught illegal dumping, and we're talking about the mattresses, the TVs, the garbage, how many people have we been able to get a hold of and say, we caught you?
I would say, just off the top of my head, it's probably a very small number. And it's relative to community members out there actually taking photographs of illegal dumpers. Sometimes we get that information. We pass it on to the DA's office. But again, finding ownership of these incidental disposal events, it's very, very rare.
Another question for you. Are there, in 2019, there was a suggestion by former Supervisor John Phillips, who was really big on this issue, to add greater number of dump sites. Could that be part of the solution? Could that be considered?
We've looked at that. I'm assuming you mean like put out a couple of disposal containers out there, and it'll be an opportunity for people to, dispose of their waste there rather than, down the street or in someone else's community. It's our experience when we put out a container out there like that, it just accumulates material from all over the place, and it overflows and it becomes a nuisance. Um, so that's not really a solution to the illegal dumping.
And it
It
could be
creates
by
its own
subsidize
problem.
more landfills, or maybe increase the capacity at the transfer stations about what they may take. I think that may also be a part of this question.
Hmm. I know that the our community partners, for example, Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority and the district, they often go out into the community and provide periodic cleanup events, or where the community could come to a location and dispose of stuff that they've accumulated or want to dispose of. And that happens throughout the year at various locations within Monterey County, from Salinas all the way down to South County. And that's available to the public. So these periodic cleanup events happen for the community. Um, and I know that the transfer stations, they take all kinds of things for free, mattresses and tires, and often when they're tire events, amnesty events, you can take up to 9 tires at a time during these amnesty events, and it's free to the public. And it again, it part of the challenge that we have is communicating this to the community and letting them know that these events are happening for them. And also, we have vouchers for cleaning up public spaces, parks, beaches, and also for private property owners who become victims of illegal dumping. That's available to the public as well. They just need to contact us.
Back to the question about cameras, is it fair to say that the dead zones that you were describing are potentially the areas where the illegal dumping would occur?
Potentially, yes, but we know where the hotspots are, and luckily for us, they are well equipped with cell service.
And then back to the question about fines and getting, capturing people who do illegal dumping. If people were caught, why were there no fines? Is that because it became a prosecution?
I'm not, can you repeat that question?
Sure. When you said no fines were levied uh, for illegal dumping, and that some of these cases were turned over to the district attorney. If you turned over to the district attorney, did it become a prosecution? Or if people were caught doing illegal dumping of this type that we're talking about, why no fines were levied?
I can tell you that the last illegal dumping that we were involved in, environmental health, where we did a report of investigation, we did the investigation, then we handed it over to the DA. That enforcement action generated over $20,000 in fines. So for us, that was a very successful enforcement action for environmental health. Again, these discrete individual disposal of bags of garbage, cans of paint, mattresses, tires, they're almost impossible to identify who actually did it. Even with cameras out there, I mean, who did it? If you can see the person and identify the person with camera evidence, that goes a long way to enforcement. But as far as environmental health issuing citations, I don't believe we ever have citations for illegal dumping. But I know that environmental health has been involved in enforcement with the DA, and that has resulted in significant not with fines, but cost recovery.
So the fines that we're talking, just so that we can clarify, because I think that there could be some confusion here about how fines are levied. If you catch somebody doing illegal dumping, who issues the fine, you or an enforcement agency?
Yeah. So this is actually a very good question, because it's something that we're asking internally. We're streamlining our enforcement process right now to include the increase in the fine structure, specifically, for example, for illegal dumping. And streamlining, meaning that we have one sheet of paper that will have our fines citation schedule, and we can issue environmental health. An inspector can issue a fine on the spot, considering the circumstance. We will be able to do that more effectively after we've structured the process. So that's something that we're working on right now.
And then we had the presentation at the board meeting, and then you're going to work, your staff is going to work on getting this into the code. When is the next time this will come before the board maybe for final approval?
That's a good question. We were thinking potentially January, but again, that's something that's being internally discussed. But again, it's going faster than we expected. My apologies for interrupting.
Oh, no, I appreciate it, because I think there's the thought was that it would take longer because of the codifying the fines, etc. But the fact that it's going to move faster probably will make a lot of people very happy.
It's going to move faster than expected, but again, I think that the administrative process may take a little longer than I expected. But the presentation that potentially it'll take until what I believe January 2023 for us to come back and provide another presentation. It may take shorter than that, in other words.
And then one final thing, if people see illegal dumping, if they drive by, they see something, what should they do?
They can notify environmental health, take a photograph, send that to us, give us the location, cross street, and let us know. Alternatively, we have an app, Monterey County app, and that'll allow them to take a photograph and then submit it, and then we will get that. Environmental health will get that information.
Is there a phone number for environmental health that people could use besides I'm going to send everyone a link to the app, MC Connect, right?
Yes, that's right. That is a very good question. It's the main line at 755-4342, I believe. But let me get back to you on that. I'll send you an email.
Okay. And then I'll share that with Maria. Thanks very much for walking us through all of this. It's a little bit complicated, but really the end result is we want a more beautiful county and a healthier and safer county for us all to enjoy.
I agree. We're moving in the right direction.
Thanks again.
All right, thank you.
So another topic now today, Monterey County's Behavioral Health Bureau and some local partners have a new program launching next month. It's called Rainbow Connections, and its focus is on our LGBTQ+ youth and the adults who care for them. Kasey Rodenbush from our Behavioral Health Bureau is joining us to talk about the program, its goals, and a really fun way for those who want to participate to get involved in the launch. Hi, Kasey.
Hello, thank you so much for having me today. Just wanted to share, I'm grateful for this opportunity to talk about a project that behavioral health we've been dreaming it up for a few years now, and we have accessed funding through the Mental Health Services Act funding stream that is the innovations component of MHSA. And part of these projects are to take an existing practice and apply it to an underserved population. So in behavioral health, we have a very robust and active program that serves the public schools of Monterey County. And we do that in partnership with our Monterey County Office of Education, our local school districts, and our community-based organizations. And so me being someone working in public health, mental health been with the county about 11 years, I've seen a lot of, with this particular student population, the LGBTQ+ population, they're at a much higher risk of mental health problems. And so this project is really designed to increase the capacity for our adults who are caring for our LGBTQ+ youth, not only in the school system, but in our child welfare system and our juvenile probation system, our hospitals, our emergency responders. Anyone that's out there caring for these youth, the goal and aim of this project is to really increase capacity of understanding on how we can support our youth as they are developing and evolving. So we'll be doing this in partnership with Behavioral Health is working together with the Epicenter, Harmony at Home, and Partners for Peace. And so part of the work is going to be trying to infuse every area of our youth worlds, whether that's at school, at home, or out in the community, and get them the support that they need, and then also support all of the adults around them. So lots of trainings, all kinds of trainings we'll be offering. Each organization will have a full-time staff person that is dedicated to this project. So Harmony at Home will have a bullying prevention specialist. The Epicenter will have an outreach and engagement wellness coordinator. And then Partners for Peace will have a family support partner. And that individual will be bilingual, bicultural, providing one-on-one support for our families, and then also parent support groups in English and in Spanish. And Behavioral Health will provide the intensive therapy if that's needed, in coordination with our medical care providers. So sometimes our youth have a hard time finding affirming providers in the medical world. So Behavioral Health will be providing a psychiatrist that will also be prescribing hormones and hormone blockers when that is indicated, and there's support all the way around for that youth. And then we'll be working in collaboration with all of our school people. So it's a very involved project, and Maya mentioned something fun that we've done to try and engage the community is this. We have a logo challenge that's part of this project. We really want to uplift and amplify our youth voices. And so we have decided to enlist any student that is living in Monterey County, that could be grades K through 12, and that we would like them to make a submission for a logo for the Rainbow Connections program. So this challenge will be going through the end of this calendar year. We've already started receiving submissions, and they're just so wonderful to see our youth getting excited. The winner of this challenge will receive an Apple computer, and then every youth that makes a submission will also receive a Rainbow Connections swag bag. So we'll have we'll take that logo, that's the winning logo, and we'll put that on everything that would be interesting and fun for our kids and our youth in the schools. The requirements for the challenge are that the rainbow flag, which is the progressive pride flag that has 11 colors in it. It's not just the traditional rainbow. It also includes pink, white, black, and brown. So and turquoise. So a total of 11 colors. We need the submissions by the end of the year. So right before the clock strikes midnight on January 1st of 2024. So we want that right before then. And the other requirement is that we want the youth to describe what their logo design means to them in 250 words or less. So already the submissions we've received have been just amazing and beautiful. So I'm excited, and I'm hoping that with this time here today, I can engage more of our Monterey County youth in participating in this challenge. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I do have a question. One of our listeners wanted you to repeat the organizations that would have a staff person dedicated to the program. You started off with Harmony at Home would have a bullying prevention specialist, but then you listed the others and who they would have on staff.
Yes, thank you. So we have the bullying prevention specialist that will be for Harmony at Home. We will have a family support partner through Partners for Peace. And Partners for Peace is a parent-family organization in our community. If you're not familiar with them, they provide all kinds of parenting support classes that are really intended to connect our families when they're having the struggles. So that agency will have a dedicated staff person. And then the Epicenter, if you're not familiar with the Epicenter, that is also a community-based organization. Their individual will be called a wellness outreach and engagement coordinator. And that individual will be going all around to the schools, all around the community, and giving resources, providing trainings on mental health, because this funding is really intended to support mental health of the community. And so, as we know, we need to be able to treat the whole child, support the whole child and everyone around them. So the model is really intended to anyone that cares for youth, and including the youth. So, and I should also mention the project is a 5-year project. So we will have the good fortune of doing this work for at least 5 years and beyond.
You know, something in your description about staffing these key organizations and then basically sending them out, you know, helping the youth that may come to them, but you're also sending them out to share information. Are you hoping that the youth will find Epicenter and Partners for Peace and Harmony at Home and find those places to get more information, to feel free to talk about the things that are bothering them or things that they're concerned about or things that they're experiencing?
Absolutely. And one of the part of the model is why I love this so much is that because behavioral health has the team that I manage, I'm a program manager. I have a team of 60 school staff that are in the schools every day. And those individuals are connected with all of the school systems. So because all of our kids are going to school in some form, we will have adults that are connected to behavioral health, that are also connected to Harmony at Home. Harmony at Home also serves the schools. So many of these schools in our county have teams at the individual school sites. And so when there are needs that arise that are evident in the school environment, then you have all of these adults that know where the resources are and then can then access them. So we will have an online referral system, which is going to be our one mode of getting help. So it's not the only way, but it really is going to be our mechanism for people to make a request for support. I should mention there's 2 components I want to mention here because they're part of the project. Family Acceptance Project is research that is out of San Francisco State University. And for 20 years, Family Acceptance Project has been studying the adverse effects on mental health and physical health when families reject the identities of LGBTQ+ youth. So Family Acceptance Project is going to be a key component in how Partners for Peace is doing their work. And then also with Harmony at Home, we are going to be bringing in a program through the Human Rights Campaign called Welcoming Schools. And Welcoming Schools is a bullying prevention program that is anti-racist and LGBTQ+ inclusive. So we're taking evidence-based programs and having all the staff that are involved in implementing Rainbow Connections, having them implement those programs. So it's very complicated, but I'm really excited about it. And I know that just within already, it's been wonderful. So we'll be offering trainings for anyone in the community. So those will be available, let's say early spring. I'm doing a lot of work to build it. So one of the things is you work so hard to get the funding, and then you get the funding, and then you have to build it. So we're doing a lot of construction right now.
And so speaking of funding, we have a question here about how is this program being funded? What is the funding?
It's funded through the Mental Health Services Act funding. And so that is funding that comes from the state, and it is the 1% of each million that is someone makes in California is taxed. 1% of each million. So that funding goes into what's called MHSA funding. And this project is $7.8 million of that funding that we will have for 5 years.
One last question. Are we fortunate in Monterey County to be able to be putting all these mechanisms, all these feelers into wherever youth are to get this information to them? You hear other places where youth is feeling disengaged, or are there objections to certain programs? Are we lucky?
We're very lucky. I can tell you I've was just out of the state not too long ago at a conference, and there are some states in our country where we cannot talk about this kind of stuff in the school system. Not only that, being a person that's been in leadership for quite a while in Monterey County, and how we and this county work with one another and our youth serving systems, it's quite special. We have wonderful relationships that really are the foundation of all of the work. And that's why I called it Rainbow Connections, is because it's all relational. And each connection that I make with another person will then be an interconnection into something else. So it's really just this beautiful, beautiful thing. I do feel very fortunate to be completely supported by all of the people around me, all leadership. Everyone has been nothing but encouraging, and really, because this need is evident across, any data reports we pull, we can see that this student population struggles in a different way than others. And so I really, based on how people have been responding and receiving this, embracing it, I do feel very lucky, very blessed.
Thank you very much for sharing with us about the program. It's really exciting to see this get started, and we look forward to hearing great things about how the program is going. And we're going to keep on with our health department theme that we have going on here today. We're going to talk a little bit about the health department's 100th birthday celebration, which is going on right now. Many people don't know that the health department is marking its centennial, and it started out really small, but wow, a lot has changed in the last 100 years for this department. And our friend Karen Smith from the health department is here to talk about how you can go down memory lane with the health department with through an art exhibit that's being launched. Hi, Karen.
Hi. So yeah, you'll notice that there's a different picture behind me. This is the health department offices that were on Alisal. We have yet to really figure out exactly where that was. But so we have some pictures of some old buildings. So Friday, what we're doing this to celebrate 100 years, like Maya said, from 3:30 to 6:30. Our headquarters will be open at 1270 Natividad to see the unveiling of this timeline art exhibit, a great way to learn about public health and the history, and see how far not only Monterey County has come, but public health has come in general over the 100 years. If you think about what was going on in 1923, we had just come out of the 1918 flu pandemic. We didn't understand viruses. We didn't understand bacteria that well. It was Prohibition. It was the world leading up to World War II. So a lot has changed. And we're excited to have people come and see our installation, have a little food. And there'll be I believe we're getting another resolution from, I think, the state. We'll do a little program about 4 and talk about, and we want to hear from people when they're there, when they come to visit us, what they see public health in the future. So not only are we celebrating what's come on, all the things that have happened in the past, but what does it look like in the future, and how we touch everybody's lives and make them better and give them more quality and more quantity of life for everyone in Monterey County. So Friday, the health department at 1270 Natividad, 3:30 to 6:30. The doors will be open, and we are very welcoming and would love for people to come, especially former employees who want to come back and relive some events, or just catch up with some of us.
Your audio, you might have a Wi-Fi issue. Your audio, it sounds like you are in the building in 1923. You're in that building behind you. But I want you to talk, if you could give us a snapshot about what was the focus in 1923 when they launched the health department. It was a very narrow focus versus now they have like 3 people then versus where the health department is today, 100 years later?
So we were, is it better? I can turn off, I'll turn off my video maybe. Okay. So in 1923, it was a $5,000 grant from the Rockefeller Foundation that was matched by the county, which gave us some nurses, a health officer, and a stenographer. And from there, in our, I can't remember how, our budget is much larger than that now. And we have about 1,200 employees because we've gone from that was more about communicable disease, mother's health, dairy inspections. It was pretty narrow at that point. And now we have clinics, we have animal services, we have environmental health, we have behavioral health, we do public guardian. I know there's more. There's public health. We do a wide variety of things that touches everyone's lives every day.
Well, including all those bacterias and diseases that we didn't know about at the time.
Yes, yes. So it's been interesting. We were doing the research for the 100 years. It seems there are themes that continue to emerge. One is mother-child. It's that early intervention is important, and we still have those programs. Communicable disease control, so that more people don't get sick. Behavioral health came and went during all those years, and we're pretty strong in that area now. So it's, vaccinations in 1923, they didn't have any. So we're really making major progress. When you go back and look, it's pretty exciting to see how far we've come, and the novel things that we do, whether it be the portable toilet inspections in response to an E. coli outbreak that's a model program for the United States, or a response to COVID, and all the clinics and the education, and we have some active transportation grants, meaning that we've worked with schools and communities to make their streets safer. A little bit of everything.
Well, it was looking at the health, not just of in the individual themselves, but of the whole community, which is really a huge, pivot from 1923 to 2023.
Yeah, a good way to look at it is a regular doctor sees one-on-one patients, and the health officer is the doctor for the whole community. And so, we are concerned about the health of everybody.
So we're really encouraging everyone to come to the art exhibit opening on Friday from 3:30 to
6:30. There will be food, if that helps people. There will be light refreshments, and it's interesting. If you have if you're interested in public health, or you're interested in the history of what's been going on, stop by.
And the great old health posters from the 70s, which I know that you have. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen, very much. And thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing for today. Our next briefing is next week. We'll see you then.